Hi, I'm Dr. Ari Lau, and I'm an educational neuroscientist. Last week, I introduced the topic of ADHD and some of the subtypes and symptoms you might see in kids. If you haven't seen the video already, be sure to check it out here. This week, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what the ADHD brain is like and how we can use this information to help kids alleviate some of their symptoms. If you're not into all the brain jargon, it's okay. I get it. You won't hurt my feelings. You can go on, skip ahead to the section where I give you recommendations about the different types of treatments that are available for kids with ADHD. Anyways, let's get started. So let me start off by saying that every individual is different. Their brain characteristics, their brain function, their brain size, they're all different, even if they share the same diagnosis. That being said, scientists have found that many people with ADHD share very similar neurological differences that you don't see in people without ADHD. Here are some of them. 1. Reduced activity in brain regions. Some of the main differences in the ADHD brain is that certain regions of the brain are less active. For example, the prefrontal cortex is responsible for executive functions such as planning, organization, and self-regulation, and it is often found to be less active in people with ADHD. This finding pretty much aligns with the primary inattentive and hyperactive symptoms of ADHD. 2. Abnormalities in brain structure. In addition to lower activity in some brain areas, sometimes these regions are also smaller in people with ADHD as well. Some of the brain areas include the prefrontal cortex, basal ganglia, and cerebellum, and they're all responsible for executive functioning, attention, impulse control, and motor coordination. But the good news is that some studies have found that these brain regions are just developed slower in some kids and won't remain smaller for the rest of their lives. 3. Dysregulated neurotransmitter levels. Simply put, our brain works by processing and sending signals throughout our body. Some of these signals are sent by neurotransmitters, and depending on what and how the signal is processed, we might feel happy or tired or in pain. Dopamine and norepinephrine are neurotransmitters, or signals, that play a key role in regulating attention, motivation, and reward-seeking behavior. In people with ADHD, these neurotransmitters are often dysregulated or less available, which sometimes make people inattentive and not as motivated or focused. So what do all these brain research mean in terms of helping kids with ADHD? Well, using the results from the research, we're able to help clinicians approach ADHD through a combination of methods that may include medication, behavioral therapy, and lifestyle changes. Here are some strategies that may be helpful. 1. Medication. Stimulant medications such as Ritalin and Adderall are often prescribed to help alleviate ADHD symptoms. This might sound a little counterintuitive at first because Ritalin and Adderall are essentially stimulants. But if you think back to what I said earlier about the dysregulated levels of dopamine and norepinephrine in the ADHD brain, we might see why these stimulants actually work really well for kids with ADHD. These medications work in different ways, but essentially they increase dopamine and norepinephrine in the brain and bring them back to a normal level. This is also why if someone without ADHD took the stimulants, they will feel more stimulated because these medications make their brains respond faster and for a longer period of time. But since people with ADHD already have a lower level of dopamine and norepinephrine, these medications will just bring their brain responses back to a normal level. Even though Ritalin and Adderall pretty much have similar effects on ADHD symptoms, they work very differently. Some kids might do better with one, and others might do better with the other, or even both. Also, some kids might not need to be on medication all the time, and they might be able to stop taking them as their brain matures. There are side effects to these medications, but that's not to say that it's not safe for kids. Actually, for most kids, these medications are very effective and cause little side effects. Think of medication as glasses to help you see better. Yes, they may cause minor inconveniences, but for most people, wearing glasses can help them see better and therefore perform daily tasks easier. Same thing with ADHD medications. If the child's ADHD symptoms are so severe that they prevent them from doing basic everyday things like learning or socializing with their friends, then medications might help them ease their symptoms just enough for them to do these activities. So at the end of the day, it is the parents' choice whether or not they want their kids to be on meds. Every family has their concerns, and that's completely okay. Our job is to be fully transparent about what we know that can help the kids' symptoms and what risks they might be taking, and whether or not we recommend certain treatments to the best of our knowledge. 2. Behavioral therapy. Behavioral therapy, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and parent training, can help children with ADHD learn coping strategies and improve their executive functioning skills. CBT can help children learn to recognize and change negative thought patterns that may be contributing to their symptoms, while parent training can help parents learn effective strategies for managing their child's behaviors. If you're interested in learning more about some exercises that you can do with your kids, like and comment below. 3. Classroom accommodations. Providing classroom accommodations, such as extra time for tests and preferential seating, can help kids with ADHD manage their symptoms better and even improve their classroom performances. In some countries, in order to get such classroom accommodations for your child, you have to have the paperwork for your children's ADHD diagnosis and evaluation to see if they are qualified for an individualized education plan. And so I highly recommend that you speak with your child's school or clinician for more details about how that works. 4. Diet. Holistic medicine that incorporates dietary changes is pretty popular these days in treating ADHD. Some studies have shown that certain dietary changes, such as protein-rich foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, and low in processed foods and artificial preservatives, can help improve symptoms of ADHD, specifically hyperactivity. Depending on the child's symptom type and severity, you might notice some effects if you implement these dietary changes. But keep in mind that not everyone who has ADHD share the same cause and symptoms, and oftentimes we see that it is a combination of methods that is most effective. Another interesting thing is that a lot of people with ADHD also have stress eating problems. This makes sense because sometimes ADHD symptoms can cause a lot of stress in life, and stress can change our brain chemistry. Now, we know already that the brain chemistry of someone with ADHD is slightly different, so the way their brain handles stress and reward are also different. It is possible that stress causes people with ADHD to overeat to soothe themselves and to feel better. And oftentimes, the types of food that provide an instant spike of good feels are highly processed, salty, sugary foods, basically foods that cause inflammation. Also, some studies have shown that people with ADHD are more sensitive to inflammatory conditions. So perhaps this is why some people with ADHD find it helpful to cut back on these foods. 5. Exercise. Regular exercise and physical activity can help improve attention, reduce impulsivity, and improve mood. That's because exercising can temporarily change our brain chemistry, similar to the effects of medication. Encouraging children with ADHD to engage in physical activities that they enjoy, such as basketball and dancing, can be helpful. Now, not all activities are the same. Some might be extra challenging for kids with ADHD because they might get bored of it easily. But at the same time, people with ADHD often excel in certain sports because they're quick, they're reflexive, creative, and even hyper-focused when they find something they really enjoy. So my suggestion would be to figure out what your child likes and really try to create a consistent physical routine for them. 6. Consistent routines. Speaking of routines, kids with ADHD often benefit from consistent routines and structure. That's because the ADHD brain is so hypersensitive to things happening all around them that it's hard for them to have self-control. Imagine everything that you see, touch, and hear and smell are constantly fighting for your attention. You'd get frustrated pretty quick too. So not only would a consistent routine help them get their daily tasks in order, it would also give them a sense of control. You can help your child set up schedule for waking up, going to bed, and completing homework and chores so that they can practice organization and planning skills. Don't forget to add fun activities for them too. Kids with ADHD especially love having small rewards in between short spurts of boring tasks. So there you have it. I know it's a lot of information all at once, so I highly suggest that you go back to the sections that you find most helpful for your kids or your students. Keep in mind that it's unlikely that just one treatment will completely get rid of all the ADHD symptoms. And that's why it's important to work with a healthcare professional so that you can work together and develop an individualized plan to meet the unique needs of each child. That's it for this week. If you have any burning questions or anything you'd like me to elaborate on, please comment below. Hit the like and subscribe button so you can be the first to know when my next video drops. Thank you for watching.